Good evening, Creator. Welcome back. Today we're going to go over Chapter 18 out of our lovely book, The Science of Being Great by Wallace D. Wattles. And this one is entitled, Jesus' Idea of Greatness. So let us begin. In the 23rd chapter of Matthew, Jesus makes a very plain distinction between true and false greatness, and also points out one great danger to all who wish to become great. The most insidious of temptations which all must avoid and fight unceasingly who desire to really climb in the world. Speaking to the multitude and to his disciples, he bids them beware of adopting the principle of the Pharisees. He points out that while the Pharisees are just and righteous men, honorable judges, true lawgivers, and upright in their dealings with men, they, quote, love the uppermost seats at feasts and greetings in the marketplace, and to be called Master, Master, end quote. And in comparison with this principle, he says, quote, he that will be great among you, let him serve, end quote. The average person's idea of a great man, rather than of one who serves, is of one who succeeds in getting himself served. He gets himself in a position to command men, to exercise power over them, making them obey his will. The exercise of dominion over other people, to most persons, is a great thing. Nothing seems to be sweeter to the selfish soul than this. You will always find every selfish and undeveloped person trying to domineer over others, to exercise control over other men. Savage men were no sooner placed upon the earth than they began to enslave one another. For ages, the struggle in war, diplomacy, politics, and government has been aimed at the securing of control over other men. Kings and princes have drenched the soil of the earth in blood and tears in the effort to extend their dominions and their power to rule more people. The struggle of the business world today is the same as that on the battlefields of Europe a century ago, so far as the ruling principle is concerned. Robert G. Ingersoll could not understand why men like Rockefeller and Carnegie seek for more money and make themselves slaves to the business struggle when they already have more than they can possibly use. He thought it a kind of a madness and illustrated it as follows, quote, suppose a man had 50 pairs of pants, 75,000 vests, 100,000 coats, and 150,000 neckties. What would you think of him if he arose in the morning before light and worked until after it was dark every day, rain or shine, in all kinds of weather, merely to get another necktie? End quote. But it is not a good simile. The possession of neckties gives a man no power over other men, while the possession of dollars does. Rockefeller, Carnegie, and their kind are not after dollars, but power. It is the principle of the Pharisee. It is the struggle for the high place. It develops able men, cunning men, resourceful men, but not great men. I want you to contrast these two ideas of greatness sharply in your minds. Quote, he that will be great among you, let him serve. End quote. Let me stand before the average American audience and ask the name of the greatest American, and the majority will think of Abraham Lincoln. And is this not because in Lincoln, above all the other men who have served us in a public life, we recognize the spirit of service? Not servility, but service. Lincoln was a great man because he knew how to be a great servant. Napoleon, able, cold, selfish, seeking the high places, was a brilliant man. Lincoln was great, Napoleon was not. The very moment you begin to advance and are recognized as one who is doing things in a great way, you will find yourself in danger. The temptation to patronize, advise, or take upon yourself the direction of other people's affairs is sometimes almost irresistible. Avoid, however, the opposite danger of falling into servility, or of completely throwing yourself away in the service of others. To do this has been the ideal of a great many people. The completely self-sacrificing life has been thought to be the Christ-like life, because, as I think, of a complete misconception of the character and teachings of Jesus. I have explained this misconception in a little book which I hope you all may sometimes read. Thousands of people imitating Jesus, and this book is called A New Christ. Thousands of people imitating Jesus, as they suppose, have belittled themselves and given up all else to go about doing good, practicing an altruism that is really as morbid and as far from great as the rankest selfishness. The finer instincts which respond to the cry of trouble or distress are not by any means all of you. They are not necessarily the best part of you. There are other things you must do besides helping the unfortunate. Although it is true that a large part of the life and activities of every great person must be given to helping other people, as you begin to advance, they will come to you. Do not turn them away. But do not make the fatal error of supposing that the life of a complete self-abnegation is the way of greatness. To make another point here, let me refer to the fact of Swedenborg's classification of fundamental motives is exactly the same as that of Jesus. He divides all men into two groups, those who live in pure love and those who live in what he calls the love of ruling for the love of self. It will be seen that this is exactly the same as the lust for place and power of the Pharisees. Swedenborg saw this selfish love of power all as the cause of all sin. It was the only evil desire of the human heart, from which all other evil desires sprang. Over against this he places pure love. He does not say love of God or love of man, but merely love. Nearly all religionists make more of love to service to God than they do of love to the service to men. But it is a fact that love to God is not sufficient to save a man from the lust for power, for some of the most ardent lovers of the deity have been the worst of tyrants. Lovers of God are often tyrants, and lovers of man are often meddlesome and officious. And he who loves his brother loves not God. And that is the end of chapter 18 of Jesus' idea of greatness. So, a great man out of the good treasures of his heart brings forth good things. Greatness comes from doing things for others, from doing things to help others, to leave things behind for other people, to say, you know what, this is what I have put together so far from all the things that have been in existence. You know, all this has come full circle, you know, like science, religion, all these are starting to melt together, and they're starting to make one grand scheme and one grand harmony, one big picture. And we need these two complements to find out what really is with things. And greatness comes from doing things in a great way, like he's saying, like every day, you know, you think the greatest possible thoughts that you could think every moment. You do everything you do in the greatest possible way, as you can do in the greatest possible way that you could do so far. You know, and inspiring people, trying to do things to encourage people. You know, charisma, getting other people to move. You know, having the ability to move energy, that constitutes charisma. Okay, being able to take a person whose energy is stagnant, you know, a person living a sedentary lifestyle, and inspiring them to move their energy, to start going to the gym every day, you know, or not even having to go to the gym, you know, just exercising at home, doing the things necessary, you know, inspiring these people, motivating these people to live a more abundant life. Those are the things real greatness comes from, you know, when you're like he said, you don't throw yourself away to the service of others, but you do provide your service to others. You know, you're not a slave to them, but you believe in what you are doing, and you're doing it because you love doing it, and because there's there's so much to get out of it, like for you and them, like knowing that you were able to help this person get on track to a more abundant and healthier way of living. You know, like Abraham Lincoln, he freed the slaves. Like you know how hard that probably was, especially in his position as president, while going through, everything that was happening at that specific time, and he was still able to come out on top, being able to save and help all those people, a full generation, an entire nation, like that. You can't get any greater than that. Like, to be remembered for something like that, that is the biggest dream of all. To inspire a nation to grow, to motivate a nation to grow. Creator, you watching this video, you have amazing potential. You have so much potential. You have so much talent. You have so much gifts and so many things that are here for you to leave in this planet, because it is through us that evolution takes place, and we keep advancing. It is through us. The younger generation needs to be better than mine. They need to be better than mine. I learned in my NASM class while I was becoming a fitness trainer, this is the very first time in history the younger generation isn't expected to outlive my generation. Basically meaning my nephew isn't expected to outlive me if they continue their unhealthy, if people continue their unhealthy habits, like eating badly, not taking care of themselves, not taking time to exercise and do the things necessary to keep their physical being balanced and in line, because it starts with your body and then it moves to your mind, okay? Because it's very hard to stay positive when you don't feel good. When you feel good, it's very, very easy. That is why it's very important to keep your health in line, so you're not in the mental state fighting to stay positive when you're already at that stage of being positive, and then you can move on to the next stage of thought. It starts with your body, it moves to the mind. You were born to create just as God creates. That is the end of chapter 18 on Jesus' idea of greatness. And let's go over chapter 19.